Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Potsmoker's Bible. My name is Zion. I'm the author of the Potsmoker's Bible, which contains the prophetic book of Zion, where I get my name and authority. It comes from the Ketuvim, or Old Testament of the Christian Bible. I use the King James Version to put together the prophecy of Israel from the scattered bits and pieces that it was. I did that because of a passage that I read in the book of Isaiah that literally asks, "Who will put this in order for me?" And I was like, "I know." So I did. So glad I did. Cute. This book just amazes me. And it is going to amaze you too. Today, I'm starting the 12th chapter of the Potsmoker's Bible, which is the 9th chapter of the book of Zion. It's called, "And the People Shall Be Oppressed." And it goes like this. This chapter describes the war on drugs. It tells us the means by which my people are oppressed. We are told that our enemies use flattery to get close to us. Everyone we know is employed to oppress us. They lay traps for us. They lie and they steal from us. They use search warrants to look for the means to imprison us. This describes the war on drugs perfectly. The last chapter explains what we are oppressed for: our sacred marijuana plant. This chapter tells us the details of our captivity. So I'm going to explain it to you step by step so that you can see the correlation. We already know that our crops are confiscated at harvest, but that's only one way that our enemies use to rob us. Everyone who uses drugs, any illegal drug, from the first moment they use, they understand that no one can truly be trusted until they've been busted and sent to prison. These righteous ones are called the saints of the Most High. I'm one of them. The ones who entrap others to avoid prison are the ones that we call narcs, and they will never be allowed into Zion. They have lost their souls to the enemy. These are the worst of our people. They become our enemies. We call them narcs. These people who testify against us are not just narcs. They are our neighbors. They are our family members. They are our friends. And they are even our lovers, our mates. The governments are so evil that they pit the drug users against everyone around them. Nothing is sacred to a pig. When a drug user goes to trial, there's no defense allowed. The judge, jury, and lawyers just state the time and place of the arrest. They show the drugs found, their evidence, and away we go to prison. We have no way to defend ourselves or our use of drugs. We simply go to prison, or narc now and go to prison later. There is no truth. There is no justice. The trial is an act of theater, a show. When my people are found guilty, we lose everything. Our money goes to the lawyers and the state. Our possessions are sold to the highest bidder, the money going to the thugs that invaded our homes and robbed us blind. Then they try to take our children from us. They give our children to strangers who are taught to brainwash them to hate us. I know. I took foster care classes. They think that they have the right to take our own flesh and blood and turn them against us. Take them away from them, trying to prevent them, our young ones, from being just like us. For this, they will pay. My children belong with their parents. No one ever has the right to take a child away from their parents or to destroy a family. The thugs that find such pleasure in their robberies use every underhanded move to entrap us. They hide and watch us secretly. They set traps to catch us. They send narcs to pretend that they're just like us. They spend years gathering so-called evidence against us. These pigs use drugs with us. They buy our drugs from us. Then they use those drugs as evidence of our crimes. But they are more guilty than we are. They use the same drugs that we do. Yet they get paid to do it. They are the guilty ones. It is the poorest people that they target for their game of narc versus druggies. These poor people consist mostly of minorities, like blacks and Hispanics. In fact, it was these two minorities that the prohibition against marijuana was created to oppress and imprison and deport. But the pigs are just as happy hunting poor light white trash like me. Everyone is fair game. When they find us guilty, which they always do, we are forced to either set a trap for our friends and or family members, or we are sent to prison, or put on a leash called probation. They also send us to places where they try to brainwash us. Our choices once we are found guilty are nothing but oppression. I had so much fun fucking with the rehab unit in prison, the SAU. They kicked me out in less than a month because I was not brainwashable. Imagine that. I was telling my prison mates the truth, and I stood up for my girls in our so-called classes. When I had seen enough of their evil ways, I simply told one of their brainwashed flunkies what I truly thought of the SAU staff. The next day, I was out of there. They couldn't kick me out of the unit fast enough. This rehabilitation, i.e. brainwashing, doesn't work. When my people use marijuana, it changes us physiologically. Our brains are rewired. Our bodies go through a transformation. And that makes us different. Only the weakest among us is subject to mind alterations. You can't tell us to return to human, because we're now gray. Our minds work differently than humans do. Rehabilitation is not very effective on telepaths. But we're not aware of our true abilities. We are taught that telepathy is a form of insanity. When we begin to hear voices, we assume that we're insane. Our fear and our confusion allows people who aren't so nice to invade our thoughts and try to do just that, drive us crazy. But if we embrace our abilities and stay true to what is right, we'll be just fine. We are all vulnerable to oppression because we aren't aware of our place in Israel. When we rejected the Torah, we angered the grave. Their plan depends on our reading the Torah. Now remember, I used the King James Version. It's my family's translation. Now, by remaining ignorant of our true identity, we fell into the trap set forth by Moses. The people of Zion were given the Torah as a testament to their right to use drugs. It justifies our way of life. The prophets have given us the means to end the war on drugs by foretelling the oppression of my people in the Torah. The Torah has become our means of salvation. Now, I'm going to start with my reading. Chapter 9, Book of Zion. And the people shall be oppressed. Isaiah 33:1 becomes Zion 9:1. Woe to thee that spoileth, and thou wast not spoiled, and dealeth treacherously, and they dealeth not treacherously with thee. When thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled. And when thou shalt make an end to dealing treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. The opening verse of this chapter, Isaiah 33:1, tells us that the treacherous dealers deal treacherously. He says it twice in his book. He speaks these very words. This betrayal of the dealers is at the heart of the police action against my people. It is their first and favorite tactic to be used against us. When we talk to our captors, they threaten us with dire consequences, like 120 years in prison. LOL. That was their threat against me. I laughed at them. We are asked to tell them who we get our drugs from. If we tell them that person will be hunted down and imprisoned in our stead. But the person themselves must set the trap for the person revealed. It's your freedom or the freedom of your friends. I'm going to stop there because I don't have time to get into the next one without breaking it up in half, and I don't want to do that. So, next time, I'm going to take up with Daniel 11:32 to 35. So if you have a Bible and you want to see what the next passage is, there you go. Look it up. So, until then, may the Grey watch over you, guide you, protect you, and keep you from all harm. And may they teach you right from wrong. May you be worthy of them. May your thoughts, words, and deeds reflect truth, good, and light, the unicorn way. We'll get to that later. Find your joy and pursue it and make that your life sword. Stay happy and high. Love you. I'll see you later. Because I'll never say goodbye.